Welcome. We are back. This is the Heelcast. We are going to be reviewing tonight Hard to Kill pay-per-view that just happened last night. Joining me tonight is the one, the only Goldberg. Goldberg, what's going on?
What's up, Pearls?
Oh, not much, man. We got a lot to dive into tonight, so let's just get right to it. So let's start with the news. Madison Rayne has decided to take a profession outside of the wrestling business that will not allow her to continue in it. She will no longer be with Impact. She is retired. Goldberg, what are your thoughts?
I think she listened to our last show, which was a while ago, but I think she listened to our last show and realized what she's doing was just not for her. I still think, she filled in admirably. I guess this kind of was a COVID thing, don't you think? With her
definitely. I think it was kind of weird how Don Callis just kind of stopped announcing and then took a different role and let Madison do it. But
I think Don Callis had something else up his sleeve that he was probably working on.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. That he needed time to. Yeah.
Listen, it's funny too, because in her retirement speech yesterday, she mentioned, "I'm retiring as a professional wrestler." She didn't even mention the fact that she's an announcer, because I guess she's really, I don't know, maybe she doesn't consider herself really an announcer. So I didn't mind her as a wrestler. I liked Madison as a wrestler with the beautiful people and all that back then. But I guess, I don't know. I wonder what she's going to be doing now.
Yeah, somebody on a message board said that was going to be some type of medical, something in the medical field. But I really honestly think she must have been dealing with a lot of injuries, because she, at the end of her first Impact run, she started doing the announcing a little bit more, and then she stopped. She didn't wrestle as much, and then she kind of did her own thing. She did the Mae Young Classic, and then she did the Ring of Honor stint for a little bit, and then she came back to Impact, and she was just a regular wrestler going through the ranks and whatnot. I really thought she was possibly going to get another title run, or even the Knockouts tag team titles. I thought she was going to kind of do something with that, and she did a little bit. But I think it was just kind of odd how she's kind of just stepped away so quickly and then just decided, hey, I'm not going to wrestle anymore.
Her backstage segments weren't bad either. That little show she did, what do you call it?
Johnny Swinger, Queen,
locker
room talk.
Locker room talk. Yeah, that wasn't bad. I thought she was okay in that. So I'm surprised that she's stepping away completely. It does come as somewhat of a surprise. So
I agree.
But I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm too upset.
No, I don't think it's a huge loss. I just think she's someone that makes the division what it is. And it's she's not the whole division, obviously. But she's a name. She's a 5-time Knockouts champion. She had great mic skills. When she was the Killer Queen, I mean, that was awesome. She was on the top of her game during that run. So I don't know. It's a little too bad, because she's only 35 or 34, so she's not that old.
It's too young for her to be having a retirement crying speech, because I'm sure she'll be back one day.
I was going to say, she could always, Gail Kim's a different story. I know personally, she had a lot of issues. I remember meeting her they had Wrestle Night, and she was there. And I got my autograph with her, and I asked her about, hey, are you going to have a match with Tessa Blanchard? And she said, well, it all depends on my my back, my MRI. So, she had issues. So I'm wondering if Madison she's a smaller girl. So wondering if she also had issues as well, that maybe she's just okay, they're just kind of nagging. Maybe it's time to just go and do something different.
Well, if Moolah and Mae Young can do it till they're 90, then I think there's hope for Madison.
There you go. Just suck it up. Oh, all right. Then the next piece of news is Ethan Page. So this guy, his contract, we knew it was coming up. We were talking about it. We talked about it quite a bit. And ultimately, he was not able to get a new deal with Impact So he did this whole thing, I guess, on his own YouTube channel. He did the Karate Man, and from his words, he said that Impact booked this themselves, which I find very hard to believe. And they made him make this video, and he had a whole rant about it on Reddit that he wasn't happy how it was edited. I thought that was the perfect amount of time to give that, because heck, if they knew he wasn't re-signing, I wouldn't even have put it on. I would have had him lose to Josh Alexander in a match, and I would just had Josh Alexander destroy him. That's what I would have done. What are your thoughts on Ethan Page leaving? And I guess, where do you think he'll end up?
Man, I don't think we're going to see him anywhere of importance, which I guess would be WWE and AEW, unless he's got some friends in AEW, which he could, because he's the same personality as most of them, the funny guy who can talk, and he's pretty good in the ring. But this is just his relation. I'm glad he's done. Totally glad he's done. And that was a low light to go out on, because I know you didn't hate it as much as me, but I thought that shit was just so stupid. And he writes in the post, he writes that he wanted it to be taken more seriously. How in the world would that be taken seriously? Please enlighten me. That's a joke. I mean, it's comedy. That's what it's meant for. Not, isn't that?
Yeah, that definitely. That was really the only comedy segment we had the whole pay-per-view.
And I was so happy about that. This was the best. This was, I know we're going to talk about it later, but to me, this was the best pay-per-view they've had in a long time.
Yeah, I agree. And we'll give our thoughts, but I thoroughly enjoyed this pay-per-view. I thought it was awesome, but I'm tired of this guy. Just seems like he is a prima donna, and if he doesn't get his way, he goes out of his way just to make you know that, and he's just very outspoken, and I don't know, like, he seems like an okay guy when you watch his vlogs, but man, the guy just seems like a crybaby to me. And it's like, I don't know, maybe WWE takes a chance on him. Okay. Maybe AEW takes a chance on him, but I can honestly see, like, we haven't heard much about where he's going to go. And I think that's kind of surprising. Like, you heard right away the Rascals were going to be in WWE, but this guy, it's like, I don't know. Like, maybe he's just MLW or Ring of Honor even. Like, he thinks he's like The Rock or something. Guy's got a big ego, and he's a crybaby if he doesn't get what he wants.
He definitely lives up to his nickname.
Yes.
He is all ego. There's no doubt about that.
And don't get me wrong, I really enjoyed the North. I thought they were a really good tag team. I was more of a fan of Josh Alexander, so I'm,
yeah, me too. And Ethan Page just seems like that typical new age wrestler with a big ego, comedy guy. He's funny, and just like he could almost be interchanged with MJF. And I know everybody in the world loves MJF, but he could almost like switch places with him, and nobody would know if they looked exactly the same. Like, right? Doesn't he have that same like kind of attitude?
At least MJF is more entertaining on Twitter. Where
there's
Ethan,
no doubt about that.
Yeah,
that's where MJF differentiates himself from the entire wrestling community.
Yes.
The man knows how to keep kayfabe.
Yes, he does. And Ethan Page is more all around the map. The map. And
even with Brody Lee. All right, and we never talked about that. Rest in peace, Brody Lee. We never got a chance to have a show about that. But even with the Brody Lee stuff, you had MJF yelling at Brody Lee's kid and stuff like that. Like, he was still keeping kayfabe during that.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
But
I just like I thought he was great. The North, they were a really good tag team when there wasn't a lot of credible tag teams, I should say, in Impact, and they had a really good run. But this guy's had a lot of beef with certain wrestlers.
But isn't he Scott D'Amore's boy? Isn't him and Alexander were D'Amore's boys from Canada, right?
I mean, I know Alexander was,
and I think Joe Doring is too.
Yeah, I think there's some of it, but hey, like, you really, maybe they just didn't really. I mean, they put his company on Impact Plus, Alpha One. They put his freaking shows on, and this guy like wants to play hardball. He doesn't want to resign, so it's like
I don't know why
they,
he
they
thinks he's so special when he's
yeah,
not yet.
he's privileged, is what he is. But the thing is, too, from the reports, they helped him. They helped him along with reaching out to WWE and all this. It's like,
Wow,
come
really?
on. And this is how he like pays them back. He's disappointed at how it went. And then he's like, and then he's been, I also heard, and I don't know if this is true, but he was kind of taking shots at Impact about his pay too. So I don't know. I just don't think this guy was a company guy. And you know what? I don't want anybody who's not a company guy. Just go, leave. If you want to leave, leave. Nobody makes you stay. So he's gone. He wants to be gone. Let's see if the grass is greener on the other side. That's kind of how I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
So I've had enough of Ethan Page for a while. Let's see what Josh Alexander can do on his own.
Well,
So
yeah, I agree, and I was okay with that match. Or I guess we'll get to that. Sorry. All right, go ahead.
Sure.
Yeah.
Third, we should talk about the new announce team. I think this is where I just want you to kind of give your thoughts, because this was a weekly thing with you with the announce team.
Yeah, years into the making. Well, not years, but it felt like years. I'm so happy they made this move, and we both talked about the fact that Matt Striker should be the guy that took over. I know you mentioned that a bunch of times.
Yeah.
That, and he on this first show that he did was such a refreshing voice. He was so it just feels so genuine when he's announcing, as opposed to Josh Matthews. It just felt forced. It just felt so forced. And Matt Striker, I don't know. The jury's still out on D'Lo Brown. He did okay, but Matt Striker is so good, and I'm so happy. I don't know if do you think it was the fans? Do you think it's listening to people like us who couldn't stand the broadcast team and Josh Matthews? I mean, because Josh Matthews as a person, I just want to make it clear, I think he's a company man, and I like him, and I'm glad he got a promotion or whatever he got.
Yes.
But just in that role, that's just I did not enjoy him as an announcer.
Yeah, I think Josh Matthews has taken over that JB role pretty solidly. He does like everything for this company, and I think the promotion is definitely well warranted. I mean, he's definitely proven his worth to Impact Wrestling just by doing all the other stuff he does. And I think he's a good backstage interviewer. So I wouldn't mind if they kind of kept him doing some of that stuff. But yeah, I think that his commentary just was kind of running through the motions, and he just never has that enthusiasm.
And giving away the finishes was brutal. Calling the finishes before the 3 count, enough.
And then not knowing the moves, like that really, he called everything a move that was done by a WWE guy, which is like, come on. Okay. You know, where Matt Striker's so knowledgeable. He knows every freaking move in the book. He knows he like studies. Like, I was so impressed when he said that's I think it was the tag team with Nevaeh, where he was talking about how she was trained by Les Thatcher, and that's the style that Les Thatcher likes to use with his students.
He does his homework.
I mean, that was ridiculous. That was great. Yeah. This is the best commentary team they've had since Don and Mike.
I would not have minded. Well, first of all, Matt Striker is the man. He should be the man on commentary. But as his guy that sits next to him, what do you call him? The color guy, I guess it would be, right? I would not have minded if Don West sat in that seat again.
Oh yeah, that would have been that would have been a great combo. But I like D'Lo Brown. I thought he was pretty funny. He had some funny moments, but he also was pretty knowledgeable too. I mean, it's freaking D'Lo Brown. I mean, and guys,
it's we didn't see that coming out of anywhere. I mean, D'Lo being the other guy, so.
He did do some commentary in WWF for a little bit on Sunday Night Heat. He did. He was the color guy there for, I don't know how long it was.
Here we never saw any inclination of him being.
Well, he did do some Impact Plus stuff with Josh a couple times throughout this year. But
here's what I would have never thought they would replace Josh. I knew Madison would be gone. I never thought they would replace Josh.
Oh no, me either. I mean, but they have, I mean, when Matt Stryker, and Lucha kind of fell through, it's like, dude, he's sitting out there. Guys, probably the best play-by-play guy that you can possibly get right now.
Yeah. And there's another moment in the show that he really impressed me, but I'll save it for when we get to it in our review because I don't want to jump ahead. But
there was one thing that I had to question, but I think I know why he did it, and we'll get to that. So I don't want to bring it up in here, but yeah. But yeah, this is just a great move for Impact. Just it helps legitimize them. Next news story. Yeah, since you brought it up, let's talk about Brody Lee. How shocking that was to find that out.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely wanted him to come to Impact before he signed with AEW. There's no question.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very tragic. It's a strange thing. Who knows when
I was wondering why he was off television for so long.
Yeah.
There was not a single mention of his character or anything.
That's props. That's props for that, by the way, for the wrestling business to keep that. So yeah. Good stuff. I mean, that was good that they kept it quiet. I should say, not good that he passed away, obviously, at such a young age.
Yeah, terrible. Really.
Yeah. So
really terrible, but a good guy. He was a good character. I think he played all his roles pretty well in WWE and in AEW.
Yes.
So it's a tragedy.
Yeah, it is.
Definitely
very talented. Very talented.
I feel for his family.
Yeah, no question. All right, I guess we can get into Hard to Kill then.
Let's do it.
All right. Let's start with the pre-show. Obviously, we had the Madison Rayne and retirement, obviously, but we also did have a match. We had Brian Myers versus Josh Alexander. I thought this was a little bit of an upset. Brian Myers getting the victory. What was your thoughts?
Well, first of all, I like the match. I like the pairing of the two to be in a match. But to me, this match deserves more than a pre-show. It deserves a proper build.
Yeah.
Because these are two guys who I think you'll agree with me should both be in some kind of maybe, I don't know if you want to say title picture, but somewhere higher up on the card than they are. Barely making the cut of the show because Josh Matthews. Alexander he's a professional wrestler. I know that's Myers' nickname, but he is a professional wrestler. He knows how to wrestle.
Yes.
And Brian Myers just has the look, and he moves around tremendously for a big guy, and he almost kind of reminds me the way he's a more athletic Kevin Nash. Does that make any kind of sense? Maybe not.
Yeah. No, I mean I get it. I obviously not as tall, but yes.
But he is tall compared to the roster today.
6'4", 6'5", I'd say he is.
That is tall compared to the people that are wrestling today.
6'6", maybe even.
Just something about him wearing those pants and he kind of just reminded me of Kevin Nash. And it just feels like both these guys deserve better than this. And I guess we'll give it time. But Brian Myers has been around now for a few months, and I mean more than a few months, right?
Yes.
Maybe, and they're just not doing anything with him yet. They kind of made a joke out of him wrestling Hornswoggle, which was fucking stupid. So I'm done with the jokes. I hope Impact is done with the jokes, and I want to see both these guys get higher up on the card.
Well, speaking of Brian Myers, he must have been on a paid per appearance deal because he actually just signed a Impact contract. So he's locked down with the company for a while now. So good move there. I like him. I like Brian Myers. I'm excited to see where they're going to take it. So then we had Hard to Kill. We started off with the mixed tag. We had the Decay reforming to take on Caleb with a K Conley and Tennille Dashwood. This match was really freaking entertaining. I was entertained by the twists and turns that happened. The Decay got the win, but this Tennille Dashwood and Caleb Conley pairing actually is not that bad. What's your thoughts?
I actually enjoyed this match, and to me, this is a perfect opening match on a pay-per-view. because
Mhm.
it was a good matchup. We got to see the Decay reunite, which they were a popular tag. They were a popular stable. Let me ask you a question. Do you think there's any chance we ever see the Monster Abyss back in an Impact ring? Because let me just say one thing. I know he's under contract at WWE, I believe still. And he was recently on WWE TV with AJ Styles. I don't know if you caught that.
Yes, that was like during
So,
the late summer
but
kind of. Yeah.
they're reuniting Decay, right?
Yep.
And Abyss was mentioned in Wrestle House, and he is part of the Brawlers release of the toys. Did you see that?
Yes, I did. Yep.
He's one of the figures. So obviously, I mean, there's just subtle hints. But reuniting Decay, they really reuniting it just for Crazy Steve and Rosemary to team up again?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing about Abyss. The guy, he's about what, 46, 45 now?
So
He's up
right.
there. He's
You
up
don't
there.
think he could ever
But
get in the ring
no,
again?
I think he could. I think in a tag team capacity for sure. I think he could. I think he's being wasted in WWE. I don't really like.
He's not a wrestler, so
Yeah, and I think that's stupid. I just don't know. I mean, unless he's getting paid a boatload of money to be there, maybe he is. I don't want to touch on his contract situation, but with Impact, he could do the same stuff he's doing in WWE, but also still perform.
Abyss is one of the most underrated wrestlers.
Oh yeah.
In the last 20 years. He is such a good character and such a good agile wrestler in the ring. He's so good. It's unbelievable. I've seen him in person multiple times, and the guy stays in character while he's signing autographs. I mean, he's just so good. And I don't know, his early feuds with AJ Styles and just throughout the years with Sting, his stuff with Sting, and then with Hogan, and he's just been so good. And to me, he deserved a couple matches on WWE TV as the Monster Abyss.
Yes. Well, they wanted him back in 2005. They actually wanted to bring him in to feud with The Undertaker, believe it or not.
Right,
yep.
Which would have been cool. But hey, they could have brought him in now. I get it. The Undertaker can't. Well, I mean, he did wrestle a few matches, but maybe you put him up against Kane or give us something with Abyss. He just deserves something. He's too good to never be to the mainstream audience.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. I think Abyss is one of the best of all time in TNA history. There's no question. Decay was an amazing tag team. I would love to see them come. I'd love to see Abyss come back.
Yeah.
But
I would welcome him back with open arms.
Yes, no question. No question at all. And you're right. I mean, I thought that was very odd that they were releasing his micro brawler because he's not even under contract. That was interesting. So he must have some sort of rights that he can give away with the Abyss character. So
I thought that was weird.
Yep. So,
but yeah, I enjoyed that first match. I think that's a perfect opening match on a pay-per-view card.
Yes, I totally agree. It was very entertaining. Good way to start it off. Then the second match, we had the 6-man tag, which was old school rules. We had the Tommy Dreamer, Rhino, and Jake Diener versus Eric Young, Diener, and Joe Doring. The stable is called Violent by Design. And I love the name. Love the name. Love the stable. It's almost like Eric Young's kind of building his own Sanity, because his WWE stable was Sanity, I believe, right?
Right.
Or was it Sanity? Yeah, Sanity.
Yeah, it was Sanity. Yeah.
He's kind of almost doing that with Impact, but this stable's got freaking giant 6'6" Joe Doring in there.
Yeah.
Guy is just a freaking beast. Looks like that old school wrestler.
Yep.
Mean, tough as nails,
And his facial expressions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I don't mind the Diener pairing. I mean, he needed something different.
Yeah, I don't mind it at all.
Yeah, this was a fun brawl.
Mm-hmm.
Fun brawl. I mean, Tommy Dreamer, say what you want about him, but he does these matches perfectly. So does Rhino.
I have nothing negative to say about Tommy Dreamer.
Yeah. Guy's just a pro's pro.
Yeah.
So, fun match. Violent by Design gets the victory. Can't wait to see where that's going to go forward. Because this
was definitely the right outcome.
Yeah, it really was.
And if they're going to take the belt off Eric Young, the heavyweight title, I mean, this next role for him is perfect. Leading this faction. So.
Yes, leading this faction and just destroying people.
I wouldn't mind if they kept. Maybe they add to it more. Maybe someone else joins.
Yeah, to get a fourth guy in there, I could see it. So then next we had a impromptu match. I guess you could say Ace Austin kind of comes out there and says, "Hey, the only time you could give me was in the pre-show as a panelist." Like what? And he said, "I am the X Cup winner, 2021 X Cup champ winner, and Scott D'Amore, I demand to be in the X Division championship match." Scott D'Amore comes out and basically says, "Well, you're not going to be in the championship title match, but I do have an opponent ready, and he's always ready." And out comes Matt Cardona, formerly Zack Ryder of WWE. Comes out, and they have a short match, but Madman Fulton obviously gets in there and gets the DQ, and Matt Cardona wins. I think that was perfectly booked because you want to give him a little tease. What did you think?
Yes, I'm glad that the match had a no contest because I didn't want either one of them to lose.
Mm-hmm.
But Matt Cardona looks like such a grown man compared to Ace Austin, and it just shows me. I used to try to say when we talked Slammiversary and Ace was in the heavyweight championship match, and I used to say I could see this guy turning into something like AJ Styles, and obviously not to the same degree because AJ's a superstar, but to the point where you take an X Division guy and put him in the heavyweight picture, but he does not look the part. I'm facing off against Matt Cardona. He did not look the part. Do you agree with that?
He's still got more seasoning. He's still got I'm not going to say he can never get there, but he should have
fought
another.
He almost should have fought Madman, and then Ace should have interfered. That would have been a little more believable. Because I will say I do like Ace Austin. I think he's good on the mic. He's a good character, and I think that Ace and Madman just have been wasted over the past few months since they lost that tag match to the Good Brothers. They really haven't done shit, right?
Yeah.
They haven't done anything. And
no.
Madman is surely being wasted because this guy should be doing something.
Yeah, he should be. And I don't know, like they may have had big plans for this when it first started, but then all those big names kind of came in the company. I think they kind of need to hit the reset a little bit with Madman Fulton. I think they got to get him out of there. It's like they got to figure out something to do with this guy because
he lost to Hernandez. Remember that in the Bound for Glory series? But I don't know if it was Bound for Glory, whatever the series was.
I think it was the tournament, right? Rebellion tournament. Yeah,
he lost in the first round to Hernandez. Yeah, and then he teamed up with Ace Austin. They got to have a role. I from the first time I saw this guy, which was actually live in person at an MLW show, and I had no idea who he was. First time I ever saw him, and he was damn impressive. They should be doing something with this guy.
What if they put him with Violent by Design?
Yeah, but I don't think he needs to be in a group. Like he should be almost like Abyss was, right? Like he's good enough on his own, kind of. You don't think so?
The only reason I say that because he was Insanity in WWE.
Oh,
with Eric Young at one point, and then he got kicked out of the group. So I'm just like wondering, like, you know what I mean? There's history.
That's interesting, but I feel they already have a monster in that group, Joe Doran.
Yeah, they do.
I don't think they don't really need another one, but that is interesting. I didn't know that. I didn't follow WWE that much at the time, so that is interesting. But
he was Sawyer. Sawyer Fulton was his name back then.
Okay. Yep. That does sound somewhat familiar.
Yep.
Weird name, but
yes, it was.
I think Madman goes better, but I guess we should talk about Matt Cardona. Your thoughts on him? I mean, appearing and I guess being an Impact long term, it kind of seems like he's here for the stay.
That I was really surprised. I didn't know what his AEW status was. I mean, he did that program in AEW with Cody Rhodes. I thought, oh, okay, maybe he's going to be in AEW, and then they never signed him.
AEW has zero consistent storylines. They change them every week. So
they really do. It seems
it's a joke,
except for like their main two 2 or
Matt
3.
Hardy is on to his 8th different
Oh
storyline.
my gosh, I don't get what they're doing. I think Matt Hardy made a mistake by going there. I really do. I think if he was an Impact, they would have had him in long-term stories.
Lost. Before I do want to touch on AEW if we could take like 2 minutes to touch on
Yeah,
them.
go ahead.
But before we do that, I want to say that this was the part in the show where I thought Matt Stryker and D'Lo Brown's reactions were really good when Cardona came out.
Yes.
Because when a surprise would happen and Madison and Josh were calling it,
yes,
boy, was it bad. Oh my God, where did he come from?
Right,
right. Like their reaction to Matt Cardona coming out was really, really good, and it was, maybe it was the fake piped-in crowd noise that helped a little bit.
That was good, and I forgot to touch on that. That actually helped out.
I think that helped because it made the announcing seem better. So I am
the biggest, like, when there's fans that are going to be back in the arena, whenever the people who designed the pandemic, happen. I know I'm going to get heat for that one.
We got
but
a
who
couple.
cares?
I think we got another week or two, and then we'll be okay.
Yes.
Because they're already
then we should be okay.
They're already
everything's
about opening
good.
Businesses back up. So
yeah, I know. I don't even get me started on that whole charade. But when people are allowed to go back in the arenas again, that was one of my biggest complaints when they would do the piped in noise, because it's like, okay, your fans aren't reacting well enough, so I would complain about it. But here it makes all the difference in the world, because I don't want to hear a pin drop while these guys are wrestling. I don't care if you got the fans.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, so this was like a good move. This was actually a good move, and it actually created a little bit of an atmosphere. So that definitely helped. So
yeah. Can we jump to AEW for 2 minutes?
Go ahead.
Could we talk about how the fact that they're even ruining the Icons thing for me? They're even ruining him. They're making.
What are they even doing with him?
The fact that you have to ask that means that they're doing nothing with him.
Right.
He's come out now 5 weeks in a row to the aid of Darby Allin, which was so fucking predictable that they were going to pair them two together. He's done nothing, and it's old already. It's old after the 5 times coming out of doing nothing. And Darby Allin beating Brian Cage is comparable to Tessa beating Brian Cage.
Yeah, they're about the same size.
I think they may weigh this. Yeah. I think Tessa may have him, actually, if you want to be honest.
Yeah.
I think Tessa may have him in weight. And this guy's finishing move is jumping backwards onto somebody. Would you not just catch him? I don't understand. He weighs nothing. Wouldn't you just catch him?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to go there with that.
It's a trust fall.
It is. It is a trust fall, but I'll tell you this, though. What's the difference from that and a frog splash?
I mean, I feel like you have more momentum when you're jumping forward with your stomach.
Yeah, you do. There's more impact on it, because
rather than jumping backwards.
Just backwards. You're right.
There's no momentum. You're just dropping into somebody. And if you're Yokozuna, it makes sense.
That makes sense. Yes.
But to have it with a guy who weighs 125 pounds, that's not going to hurt me. That wouldn't hurt me.
No.
I weigh 170. It would not hurt me.
No.
So I'm not buying into Darby Allin. And then Brian Cage, this guy needs to speak up backstage and tell somebody that this is a joke already. He's the biggest guy I've seen in the wrestling industry in years. Yeah. He's been the worst booked guy I've ever seen in years.
Well, he was booked really good in Impact for the first year.
But all we remember him is losing to
Tessa. Yeah.
And now I know him as a guy who couldn't beat Darby Allin, a teenager. And it's just their storylines suck. The thing they're doing with the Inner Circle sucks. Okay, they debuted as this big heel group that was supposed to take over wrestling. They're a joke. The whole thing is comedy, and they come out a month ago. I don't know if you I catch the highlights. Sometimes I tune in. I don't know how much you're watching AEW.
I try to follow at least the stuff I want to see.
So they had a thing where Chris Jericho said to the Inner Circle, "If we fight again, we're breaking up." Now they are having their third week in a row of the Inner Circle wrestling each other on the show. So
Oh boy.
how does that make any logical sense? You just said if we fight each other again, we're breaking up.
Why
now
are
they're
they
having a three-way tag match next week, them fighting each other.
Why are they having so much dysfunction? They've only been together for a year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
At least forget it for a year. MJF and Wardlow just joined the group a month ago.
Yeah, that's strange.
It's just so stupid. Nothing they
Yeah.
do, their storylines make no sense. Just none.
Why do you think they had to team up with Impact?
I
mean, it's a win for Impact because
man,
they get the TNT audience. But
I am going to save my thoughts on that till the end when we reach the main event because, oh my God, Hurls! I'm not gonna get started now.
all right, we'll save it. We'll save it. Let's go back to Hard to Kill.
Before we go,
yeah.
I just want your thought. Do you think it's as bad as me or no? AEW.
No, I don't think it's as bad as you're thinking it, but I don't think it's been good. I don't think it's been like
But do you think what
just
I say
too many
has some merit to it?
Yes. I definitely agree there. I think their roster is all over the place and they don't have a clear I agree they don't have a clear vision of what they're trying to do. It's very strange. Let's just put it that way. Like where I feel like Impact is way more organized. And I'm not saying Impact's perfect by any means, but I think they're just more organized. Like they know who the heels are, they know who the faces are. Yes, they have less wrestlers, but it's just, you know what I mean? Like their organization is better. And where AEW, it's like I got guys all over the place. I have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah, they don't know what to do with their roster. All right. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Let's
no, that's fine. That's fine. The next match we had at Hard to Kill was the 3-way for the X Division Championship. We had Manik defending his title against Chris Bay and Rohit Raju. The storyline leading up to this, I guess some people were kind of confused. You included, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. See, I thought it was actually pretty entertaining, but the whole point was that they, Scott D'Amore, remember, he drops it into TJP's ear like, hey, you can't wrestle for the title, but maybe let's say you were able to put a mask on or something else. And, because he couldn't stand Rohit Raju. Like clearly Scott D'Amore's very annoyed by Rohit. Mm-hmm. So they had the match at one of the Impact Plus events. I think it was last month. And Manik ends up winning, comes out and ends up winning the title. And so now the whole storyline was Chris Bay was like, trying to kind of finesse Rohit Raju, like his gimmick. And he's trying to say, hey, there might be a way we can get your title back if you can prove that it's Manik. Then we can unmask him and we know it's TJP and he's not allowed to be the champion. So that's kind of where this thing was going. And that
like Mr. America?
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, sort of. And so that's kind of just the background of this storyline. But this match, man, wow, was this really freaking good. Like, at least that's what I thought. I thought this match was one of the best X Division matches we've had in a while. Like, I thought it was that good. I thought, I don't want to give us stars. I used to do that, and I'm not going to do that anymore. But it was a very long match, very good. But Manik ends up retaining. He does get unmasked, but he's got face paint on. So, yeah. I was like, oh, it's the boy from Coco grown up. But what was your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I agree with you that this had kind of the feel of an old X Division TNA match where like Petey Williams and like oh my God, I just had I was about to say someone's name and now it slipped my mind. One of my favorite X Division guys of all time, and now I can't remember his name.
Daniels?
No.
Kazarian?
No. He was Tracy Brooks was his manager for a while.
Wasn't Kazarian?
No, Shawn Michaels' cousin, right?
Oh, Matt Bentley. Yeah, Matt Bentley.
Yeah.
Yep.
But that wasn't.
He was
He had
called
another name.
Michael Shane.
Michael Shane. That's it.
But
Yeah.
then he changed it
And
to
then he
Matt
changed
Bentley.
to Maverick Matt Bentley. Right.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. It had an old school feel to it, like one of those triple threat matches from back in the day. Because this was a really good match. But a part of me, I'm just kind of sick of seeing the same 3 or 4 guys fight for the X Division title. What do you think of that?
Yeah, they took a hit when the Rascals kind of left, because they were always kind of involved in a lot of these matches. But I agree with you. But if you really think now with the X Division, I mean, unless you're going to put Willie Mack and Ace Austin back there, which they may, it just seems like they're a little depleted now with the X Division. Like the 3 they have are solid. Don't get me wrong, but they're going to need some more names to go in there.
I think Rich Swann should be there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
some people may say Austin Aries too, but
I wouldn't mind that. But
yeah,
I don't think the guy doesn't like taking a pinfall. So
no, he doesn't.
Him and Ethan Page should start their own company where they never lose.
Yeah, right. Exactly. But yeah, it was just a really fun match. Very good. Like it's definitely candidate for match of the night in my book. So
it may have been, yeah.
It might have been. So the next match we had was for the champion to crown for the knockout tag team titles. We had the tournament, and then we finally reached the final 2 with Havoc and Nevaeh versus Fire and Flava, which was Kiera Hogan and Tasha Steelz. We ended up getting Tasha Steelz and Kiera Hogan. I didn't really care who won this. I probably was rooting for Havoc and Nevaeh just a little more, but I don't really mind that Tasha Steelz and Kiera Hogan won it because, I mean, they've been doing good tag team stuff for a while. What was your thoughts? I thought the match was decent.
Yeah, I didn't mind the match. The match was fine.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think it was terrible. I didn't think it was great, but it was a good match, and you're crowning champion, so it was properly placed on the card, I guess. And I didn't find really anything wrong with this. And yeah, I probably would have maybe rather Havoc and Nevaeh win, but not by much. So I'm fine. I'm fine with the outcome.
Yeah. I don't think it's. I mean, I think they were both heels, so I think they're both heels. Yeah. So I don't really. I think you're going to get the chase, kind of whoever decides.
They have good.
Go for it.
They're good on the mic, both.
They are. They got a very like that annoying tag team. They do that really well.
Yeah. They
do. I didn't have a problem.
We're going to have to see some tag teams line up to feud them. Let's not just forget about them. And you know, they appear once every 2 or 3 weeks with the titles, and we remember. Oh wait, they have women's tag titles. Yeah.
Well, I think that's kind of what happened with the original knockout tag team titles. It's just kind of there wasn't enough teams. They slowly forgot about them, and then now it's over. So I'm glad they're back, but we got to keep it going now. So I think they have enough knockouts to do it, but let's see what happens. And Kiera Hogan, first title she's won in Impact, so she's been there for a while.
Yeah,
so it's good to see someone be rewarded with it. So anyways, next match on the card, I guess we could talk about Deonna Perazzo versus Taya Valkyrie for the Knockouts Championship. This was a pretty good match as well. Deonna Perazzo ends up retaining. What was your thoughts on this one?
My thoughts were I don't need to see 2 women's matches in a row.
Yeah.
That was my only thoughts. Because I had no problem with the match itself, but I don't need to see two women's matches in a row. I don't think anybody does.
Yeah, I mean, I like Deonna. Like, I like her character, and Taya's.
I'm glad she won. I'm glad she retained the title.
But... Yeah. I mean, Taya, who knows what's going to happen? I mean, I keep hearing that her contract's coming up soon. But...
I think she's going to leave soon, but we need to see. I want to see a real feud with somebody interesting for Deonna. Somebody really interesting. We need a bigger name in there. I mean, Taya's a decent name, but we knew she wasn't going to win that match. I mean,
no, not with the lingering contract question. So
let's see somebody else. Hell, that could have been Madison Sendoff. She could have been fighting for the title on that card.
I liked what they did with Su Yung for a while, but then they kind of, that ended, obviously.
You know what?
So
why did they put her back to another fucking weird character?
I don't know. I don't like this one though.
Why is she not Su Yung still? Like, she was Su Yung for like a week.
Yeah, and then now she's back to this new one, Susan. I don't mind the Susie character, but the Susan one's
Susie character was cute. I don't know what this is.
This is just different.
We don't need a third character.
Like Three Faces of Foley type stuff.
Yeah, this is stupid. Yeah. It's another joke. Like, come on, let her. She should have stayed Su Yung, and she lost the title too quickly too. But whatever.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, it was odd. It was odd. I don't know. Then we had let's talk about the Barbed Wire Massacre. Sammy Callahan versus Eddie Edwards. For these guys had so many matches throughout the years. Mm-hmm. Did this match live up to what you thought it would, or what was your thoughts? I mean, Eddie winning was kind of surprising because he won the last time these guys fought. So,
well, Sammy Callahan never wins a match, so I wasn't surprised at that at all.
Yeah,
I can't remember the last time this guy's won a match in years.
Yeah,
so it wasn't surprised with the outcome actually, but okay. Do you remember when the band got back together and Kevin Nash and Scott Hall and Pac were rejoined and they won the tag titles as the band?
Oh, yes.
Do you remember the disrespect that was given from the crowd and what they were chanting back then?
Yes.
Same old
shit. Yep.
Yeah. I don't need to see Sammy and Eddie fight anymore. It's the same old shit. These guys have fought too many fucking times.
Yeah.
And it's enough. I'm glad they finally put an end to it because this is hopefully the end. But they put this match together kind of on the fly. They
kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah, the build up for it, was kind of out of nowhere. So it was just unnecessary to have them fight again. I didn't see the necessity. I guess they wanted to have their typical hardcore match, one hardcore match on the card. But I'm ready. Enough with this feud, man. Put it to bed. It's over.
Did you mark out for the N64 controllers?
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Cool. I did enjoy that. There were some cool spots, no question.
But do you agree it's enough with these two?
Oh, definitely. Like the first feud, I don't think you could ever top that because there was a real life situation that spawned into something crazy, and it just went on a wild roller coaster. And these guys had so many matches after that. This was this just didn't have that same. No. I mean, we have already had the Alicia Edwards involvement in the first feud. There wasn't really. Yeah,
they just feels like they did it again because they knew they were going to have a new audience for this pay-per-view.
And they
wanted to put on one more. Yeah, maybe let's do this one more time because these two have had some good matches together. Let's do it one more time for the new crowd and introduce them to the maniacal Sammy Callahan and our little hero Eddie Edwards. So
yes, exactly.
But enough.
So
let's move on.
Yeah, I think this will be the end of these two for a long, long time. Yeah. And then before we get to the main event, I just want to talk. We did have some backstage stuff with Ace Ramiro and Larry D. Well, we had the whole kind of Larry D package. Do you have any, I guess, hope that this is going to lead to something good? Or who do you think it's going to lead to as well?
I don't know. What do you think?
I think it could be possibly Taya maybe turning heel on Rosemary possibly because where else could she go? If Taya's going to stick around, that could be something new for her because she gave her blessing, but you could tell before that maybe she wanted Johnny to herself. I don't know. And they're trying to say that it was going to be a knockout, but yeah, this one's kind of tough.
I don't know. Yeah, I really don't know. I don't even have a guess.
Yeah, that's so. I don't know. We'll just see where that one goes. Yeah, let's do the main event then. The match was supposed to be Rich Swann with the machine guns, but Alex Shelley was unable to make the pay-per-view. We don't really know why, but
Yeah,
he
the
did.
explanation was poor, but
Yeah, he kind of was very vague with it. I guess we don't need to know. He says that he'll be back though, so there's nothing to be concerned about. But they did replace him with Moose, and I actually think that worked out really well. Moose being in this added a whole new dynamic. So,
but you know what I wonder? If Alex Shelley didn't have these issues, are you telling me Moose wasn't going to be on this card?
that's a really good question because I mean he's still kind of feuding with Willie Mack.
Enough with that too.
Yeah, they've had that for a while.
He's too
I
good
don't.
for that. Let's move on from
Yeah,
that.
I don't know.
I don't
That's a
think he
good
would have been on the
question.
card. I think
No.
maybe he would have done a run in or something at the end and beat the shit out of Rich Swann. I don't know.
Yeah, that could be. Yeah, that's. I don't know. Yeah, that's a good question, but at the end of the day, I think it worked out.
Mm-hmm.
He looked like $1,000,000.
Yep.
But we had Moose, Rich Swann, and Chris Sabin versus the Good Brothers and Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega making his Impact Wrestling in-ring debut. The match was really good. Moose looked like $1,000,000, like I said before. He did some crazy stuff. Standing moonsault to the Kurt Angle-esque Spanish fly move that he did. That was just amazing. I mean, Kenny Omega, very talented wrestler. Good Brothers, they looked good. I just, Chris Sabin kind of seemed a little outshined in this match for whatever reason. He just didn't really have that character going really too well. But I thought the main event was a really solid effort. Obviously, the Good Brothers and Kenny Omega get the win here. I thought Kenny Omega pinning Rich Swann was kind of interesting, but I guess it's going to lead to some doubt put into Rich Swann's head. But what was your thoughts on this?
I'm not as positive as yours. So
Okay.
get ready for some negativity.
Okay.
I thought the match itself was fine. I'm not going to complain about the match itself, but to me, there's more goes into this than just the match. And I think Rich Swann has really not come out looking good from this.
Mm-hmm.
From the segment on Impact when Kenny Omega first showed up and he was in the trailer in the back, and
Yes.
Rich Swann was trying to get into the back, and he was turned away by one man with a clipboard, and he turned around and left. That didn't make him look too good because he should have beat the shit out of the guy with the clipboard and went back there.
Yes.
Which was stupid. He's been beat up every week backstage by the Good Brothers and Kenny Omega. He's been beat up by Moose. He has not looked good to me throughout this whole thing. He doesn't look like a heavyweight champion. He doesn't have the look of a heavyweight champion. And I think that they picked the wrong guy to represent Impact as the heavyweight champion. And I think it should have been somebody else. I wouldn't have had a problem if Eric Young kept the title. I just don't think they picked the right guy. I want to start with that. Do you disagree with that?
No, I don't. I don't think. I mean,
not a slight to Rich Swann, but we're talking heavyweight champion representing your company against a rival, supposed to be a rival company. We know they're working together, but an invasion angle almost. Like, is this really who you want representing you to the public audience who's seeing you for the first time?
No, I think you want Moose. Now you definitely want Moose. Yeah.
Except Moose is also a heel, so
how's that going to work? Yeah, I don't really know who the face guy would be.
There's nobody.
Yeah, unless you would have kept the title on Eddie Edwards for long.
Even him, I don't know. I almost think it should have been, you know what, even if you do heel on heel, heels could fight each other from rival companies, because you have that angle that they're both representing their own company. So I almost think that it could have been Moose or Eric Young or even Sammy Callahan, because Sammy's so animated and crazy, and it just could have made a little sense with him maybe banging on Kenny Omega's trailer or something stupid. I don't know.
Well, plus you got that dynamic with John Moxley where Sammy and John used to be tag team partners in CZW too. So, there's that.
Yeah. So
I still think we're going to get that down the line.
I'm just not feeling Rich Swann, and that's no offense to him, but I'm just not feeling him in this specific role. And I also think that Kenny Omega blows. I think he fucking sucks. I think he's so overrated. He's okay in the ring. There's nothing. He's not. I don't have a problem with his younger abilities per se, but he is so bad on the mic, and his act of being the heel and trying to be and like picking on people and knocking papers out of people's hands, and it just feels so forced to me. He doesn't feel like a genuine heel.
Mm-hmm.
It just feels like he's acting. I feel like he's an actor. What do you think about that?
I'm more positive on Kenny Omega. I do like him. I think he's done a pretty good job, but I think Don Callis is really doing tremendous work, though.
But if you think about this, if Don Callis was not involved in this and Kenny Omega had to have the mic in his hand throughout this whole thing, you think that he would be able to hold his own?
No, I don't think there would be the same. He would still need the Good Brothers as like a stable type. I mean, it's hard to say because like
I don't like him. I don't like Kenny Omega. I just don't like him. I don't buy him. I just don't believe him. I don't believe what he says. I don't believe him as this bad guy. I believe him as like this nerdy comic book guy.
You don't think him and the Good Brothers have that cool factor going right now?
No, I think the Good Brothers do.
Okay.
I don't think he does.
Okay.
He to me, and maybe this is the wrong word to use. It's not politically correct. He's a dork.
Yeah.
And the Good Brothers are cool.
Well, he is a dork. Yeah, that's true.
He feels like a nerdy guy who like he just feels like a nerd, and like they feel cool to me. What
about that snap tiger driver suplex he does? That is devastating.
I have no problem with his in-ring moves. I think he's a good wrestler. His personality to me sucks.
Yeah, he's not like no way is he a Hogan or anybody like that.
But that's the role he's playing, Earl.
Yeah,
he's playing Hulk Hogan right now.
He is.
He's playing the leader of the NWO who's coming into another company and being an asshole. Like, but he's not an asshole. He just doesn't. I just don't buy it. Don't buy it.
Where do you see Kenny Omega winning the Impact Championship? Because I could see that's maybe where they're going with this.
I hope he fights Moose and not Rich Swann. That's what I'm hoping. This whole thing needs to end with Moose being put on the map to mainstream audiences.
Because I think Moose and Omega, that could be a dream type matchup. You know what I mean? Where Moose looked and held his own in that match. There's no question. Like, he looked on par. So
listen, there's nothing wrong with Kenny Omega's look. There's nothing wrong with the way he looks, and he's built nicely. He's not a little guy. He's built okay. So he should be fighting Moose if they do end up doing a champion versus champion thing. I hope Moose takes the title before that happens, but I just don't buy him as Hulk Hogan, like you said. I don't buy him as Hollywood Hogan. I would have rather have seen. I don't even know who, but I'm glad the Good Brothers are in this angle, but maybe even Hangman Page, who I think is a really tremendous talent, and he's being wasted in the Dark Order right now, which makes no fucking sense at all. But I think very highly of him. I don't know what you think of him.
Not too much of a fan.
Really?
Yeah,
wow.
I'm like with you on Omega. I'm just
really.
Not a
you don't think he
fan.
Has charisma?
Nah, I don't like his. He's like a clean cowboy. Like, when I think cowboy, I think rugged. I think James Storm. I think even Joe Doring. You know, this guy's like tucked in shirt, sips his beer. It seems like I don't know,
good-looking normal guy.
Yeah, it's just I'm not getting like I can understand
like if Lex
the clean
Luger
cut.
Was a cowboy.
He's more like Smoking Gun cowboy to me, like Billy Gunn and Bart Gunn. You know?
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
like he's wearing jeans and like
just. I want him to be more James Storm.
So if you had your choice of the entire AEW roster and the entire Impact roster, would you have picked Omega and Rich Swann to represent the two companies?
No. Well, okay, I don't.
Who would you have picked? I know it's on.
I don't think I have an issue with Omega though. Like if they want to put him in this role because there's history with the Good Brothers, so that kind of works to their favor in that point. Impact though, No. Impact, I'm going, like, if I'm putting in the Rich Swann role, I think Eddie Edwards does it. I know you don't think so, but I would put Eddie in there.
But I'd rather Eddie than Rich.
I could do Moose, obviously. I could do Sammy. Sammy's coming. They're going to do something with Sammy and John Moxley, I think. I read a report that said this thing's going to be a slow burn. They don't want to tease the dream matchups right away. They're just going to keep doing this.
Yeah.
I
feel like they have something planned that we are yet to see.
Yes. That's what's making this storyline though so intriguing, because they're not just throwing it all out there and rushing this thing. They're doing it very slowly, and that's how they should be doing it. So but like you said, I got Moose, I got Sammy, I got Eddie, maybe Eric Young. Those are the guys I'm doing this angle with, at least on the Impact side. I don't know. I mean, if you're AEW, you could go Omega, maybe Moxley, Jericho. I don't know. Pac. I'm a huge Pac fan. I like Pac a lot, but I don't know if they see him in there. So I don't know, but I am intrigued by it. I'm still intrigued. I like the fact that we got a triple or a 6-man tag as the main event, not just another title defense. Because it's like, in WCW, they would do those 6-man tags as pay-per-view main events all the time, and they still felt special. That's what I really liked about this. It's like, okay, we're not just doing your typical heavyweight title defense on a pay-per-view. We did something a little different this time. So I did enjoy that. What was your thoughts?
Yeah. No, I don't mind the triple threat as the main event.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not as high on Omega and Rich. And I like Rich, and I wouldn't mind him as an X Division champ, but I'm just not. His build came out of nowhere too. Just being in that 4 or 5-way match, whatever that was at Slammiversary.
Yeah. And
kind of then just beating Eric Young for the title.
Starting the feud because Eric Young took him out of the.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not seeing him, and maybe I'm stuck in the past with my heavyweight champions, but I don't buy it. I want to love this invasion angle. I want to love the Bullet Club thing because it has an NWO feel to it, which I love, but it's Omega who's ruining it for me. I love the Good Brothers. Carl Anderson's great. Gallows is awesome. I don't know. Omega doesn't do it for me.
Yeah. What's up with the Young Bucks too in this whole situation? Like, they kind of seem like they're happy that they're back together, but then they don't seem like they're on the same page yet.
I don't get that either. This is kind of weird too. I don't understand that either.
Is this gonna lead to a Young Bucks versus Good Brothers match?
I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah. I could see that possibly where it's going, or the Young Bucks turn heel. And what's your thoughts on the Siobhani Tony Khan promos?
I liked them at first.
Yes.
And now I could live without Tony Khan being on my TV.
Yeah.
He seems like he has the same charisma as Kenny Omega. Dork. Like, they're just.
Yeah. He is a dork. There's no question. Yeah.
One has a tremendous body and the other one doesn't. That's the only difference.
Right. You like the fact that they're burying Impact? It's kind of funny because it's all. Impact has obviously clearly doesn't care because they're agreeing to this. So they like how it's kind of built. I just don't know what it's building up towards.
But do you think that Rich has as the champion? Let's go ahead and talk about him as the champion for a second. Do you agree that this has not made him look really good? Or you think him even being in this angle?
They're giving him a push, and I think he's done a really good job as being a pro Impact guy and giving it his all. But he just can't stand, like, he's not at that level. You know, he's just not at that main event style level.
Right.
I think you can put him in there in spurts, but I don't think he can be your main guy. So I don't see him holding this title much longer. You know, I really like to see EC3 just sign the contract with Impact. Like, what's he doing? Like, just, you know what I mean? He'd be another guy you could put in the Impact roster and be another guy that'd be credible.
I think it's a matter of time before Moose takes that title.
It is. There's no question. So what are you giving your final grade for Hard to Kill?
I love this pay-per-view.
Yeah. It's really freaking good.
Putting aside the things I just mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
I really love this pay-per-view, and I'm going to give it like an 8.5 out of 10.
That's exactly what I was going to give it. 8.5. The only thing it might have missed was that shocking turn, but like without having to rely on shocks and surprises, I don't think you could have done any much better. Like it was just really good all around, and every angle seemed to have some good heat to it. And I don't know. I thought it was great. I thought it was a really good pay-per-view. I had some high expectations, obviously, because you got Kenny Omega in there for the first time, but like, I just think everything kind of delivered. Everything flowed nicely. Matt Stryker and D'Lo Brown just set a really nice tone to the start of it. And there was a lot of cool stuff. I mean, I enjoyed the Matt Cardona surprise. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to see what happens on Tuesday. And you said that David Pinzer tweeted out, you're not going to want to miss this. So
yeah, I guess they taped their show tonight, and his tweet was, "Tune in Tuesday. You are not going to want to miss this," in all caps. So
wow,
something's got to happen, or else I'm going after Pinzer.
What are you? Okay, so if he's tweeting this out in all caps, I'm thinking of three things right now, and tell me which one you think is likely. Kurt Angle comes back.
Ooh.
Okay, I'll say that one. Kurt Angle comes back. Jon Moxley or the Young Bucks show up. Or Chris Jericho shows up. With some type of,
Can I go D? None of the above?
Okay. Yeah, what are you thinking?
I don't. Oh man.
Something's got to obviously happen. Like there has to be.
Are we thinking a debut, or are we thinking someone from AEW?
See, I don't want, like, the AEW stuff is going to be there. So I don't want it to be an AEW. Just like, what? Okay, Young Bucks or, Moxley showing up or Jericho. I mean, that could be big. Don't get me wrong. And that could be what Pitzer's talking about. But I don't think there's much out there on the free agent market that could make that big of a splash, in my opinion.
Well, Pinzer could just be touting the show. But I feel like Impact needs to get the next upper hand because they just lost.
Yes.
So it could be something that benefits Impact, which could be Kurt Angle, and maybe he's taking the side of Impact. Maybe possibility.
Oh, yeah. He's out there. Kurt Angle's out there.
Because the only other name that would really make a big splash would be Kurt Angle.
Yeah, that's really it. Or
you're not
obviously CM Punk. That'd be about the only other name.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
I was never.
You got the Bucks and Moxley, but they're AEW. So I feel like, don't you think Impact needs to get the next kind of big advantage in this feud since they just lost?
Yeah, I do. Or
does this have nothing to do with AEW? I mean, we don't.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Like, if it's not anything to do with AEW, it's got to be a big return. But there's not like that many guys out there.
The way that tweet sounds like it's a return. It doesn't sound like
that's Kurt Angle. It's got to be Kurt Angle.
Manic lost the title. Like, no, this is a return.
This is something big. Okay, so then the big returns. Let's talk about it. Kurt Angle.
Why do you think it's Kurt Angle?
We already had James Storm.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, that was just more of a.
Wasn't a part. Now that you brought his name up, kind of upset that he wasn't a part of this. But
I hope he comes back at some point. Like, we didn't get enough of him, so if David Pinzer's doing it, it's not gonna be like an Eli Drake or anybody like
No,
that.
it can't be. It's got to be something.
It's got to be a guy that's
Although I
around the
wouldn't mind
David Pinzer
Wouldn't mind Eli Drake.
era. Like, it's not Magnus. It's not gonna be a Magnus guy.
No,
He's not gonna.
well, maybe unless it's what's his name from New Japan.
No, I was gonna say New Japan. I was gonna say New Japan.
I mean, I don't know this guy because I'm not too into New Japan, but that guy who's a member of the Bullet Club,
Tonga, yeah, that could be
because he was tweeting about the show and he was pissed about it.
Yeah, that could be Tonga.
It could be something like that, but to me, that's not as interesting.
Is that all caps worthy?
To me, it's not.
To me and you, it's not. But
it may
to
be
the neckbeards out there,
somebody who's touting the show and
the NJPW neckbeards, it could be. Yeah,
exactly.
Oh man, like I said, it like Kurt Angle's the guy who would warrant that type of reaction. But I can't even think. Yeah, I can't even think. There's like no Eric Redbeard. He's not that big of a free agent.
I'll give Penzer credit because that tweet alone just sold me on watching the show Tuesday. So
yeah. Well, I'm gonna watch either way, but
So am I. But now I'm really looking forward to someone coming
something's gonna happen. Something's going down. Yep.
This better not be a regular show. Something better happen here.
Karate Man wins the title. No.
Oh my God!
Just joking.
They gave in.
That would be
after that Reddit post. They gave
in. Yeah, I think he's kind of burnt a little bridge there. So Tessa Blanchard comes back. And then takes out Brian Cage one more time. Oh gosh.
No, Tessa should come back and fight Darby Allin.
Oh man.
I want to see a more of a crossover rather than just. Right now, we
just
only have
right now. It's just Kenny.
We only have one guy who came into the company and is teaming with Impact guys. But right now we only have one guy. Like I want to see a crossover. I want to see Kurt Angle come back. And I know this is far fetched and stupid and it's never going to happen. But this is something probably me and you would enjoy. If Kurt Angle came back and came out on the show and said, I'm back in Impact, and then you got Sting who would come out and we don't know who he's gonna.
Yes.
So, let's just get something interesting. Two guys who were the leaders of the main event mafia. Just something to get, I don't know, more of a feud between two companies rather than just Omega coming over with Callis is already Impact. So.
Yeah, exactly. What's up with Heath? He's injured right now, right?
Yeah, I guess he got hurt in that match. Yeah.
Okay, and he's just kind of nursing that injury right now. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think who are the free agents out there right now that are. I mean, you got Chris Hero's out there. I know he's free, but he said he was kind of taking a little break. But he's not a guy that's going to draw the caps. Yeah, it's got literally it's Kurt Angle. It is Kurt Angle. It would have to be.
I hope you're right. I really hope you're right.
Yeah. I'm not gonna say it is, but I'm just saying it's got to be something with either New Japan and AEW if it's not Kurt Angle.
So let's do this like we used to do. Let's just go. Sure. Let's go one guess. Your guess is Kurt Angle.
I'll say Kurt Angle.
Let's assume it's a debuting guy. So you say Kurt Angle.
Yes.
I'm gonna say. I want to say something realistic, but I almost want to say Abyss, but I know it's impossible because he'd have a 90-day no compete probably.
That's not true though. That might not be true because he's only an agent. He might be able to go somewhere right away.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
It's possible.
Would that be a big enough
Abyss?
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
I'm going to give you one name that I want to come back, but this is not worthy, and this has there's no indication of this happening. But I would love to see Mr. Anderson come back, and
And I
That's
think
realistic too. Yeah.
I think we could see some NWA guys. It could possibly be Magnus.
Well, he's not NWA though. Not anymore. Nobody's NWA. I think everybody's like, dude, we didn't even mention Brian Hebner back.
Oh, right.
We didn't even talk about that. And the way that guy left the company, it was not a good terms. He shot on the company pretty hard when he left.
Wait, so is NWA done completely?
Dude, they're on their last. I mean, what are they? They're like on their last life. I mean, everybody like Brian Hebner was in NWA, and like all their guys are out of their contracts. Zicky Dice, like the only guy I think they got on contract right now. Might have two guys. Eli Drake might be still on contract, and Magnus is still on contract. Like they did re-sign.
So
him.
is it okay?
Yeah, they did re-sign Magnus. So or Nick Aldis, as you will.
So it can't be Magnus and it can't be Eli Drake, which are two former Impact guys. So that would make somewhat sense.
Yes,
but it could be. It still could be. I mean,
if they come up with a deal, right?
But are they a big enough name for Penzer to crap his pants? Probably not.
No.
Penzer, I feel like Penzer's talking up nothing. I'm also like.
You're gonna say Penzer's just gonna he's pulling a Dixie Carter and it's gonna be just not good.
Yeah, I mean, Impact has a history of.
Oh, what if Dixie Carter comes back? Is that big enough?
She does tout the show constantly on Twitter and Facebook. So.
Yeah, she's been getting more active with it too. I feel she's still a minority owner. Like really
I wouldn't hate it. I'll tell you that I wouldn't hate it.
Yeah,
as long as she comes with Hogan.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely won't be Hogan.
But yeah, I guess I'll guess Abyss, which is probably not going to happen, but that'll be my guess.
Okay, you're going to guess Abyss.
I hope something. I hope it's something, and we're not talking up nothing here.
Okay. All right. Well, it's gonna be fun either way. I think the fact that we're guessing on where this could go is a good thing. It means at least we're invested. So. If
he didn't write it in caps, then I wouldn't think too highly of it.
Caps
really,
will sell you.
Yes, really sold
this is something big that went down. So no question. All right, you got any? Are you looking forward to the AEW video game? Do you think there's a chance Impact gets in on there?
No.
Okay. All right, I just wanted to ask you that. See what your thoughts was.
I don't mind. I mean, I like any video game, but I'm not.
Right.
I don't think Impact gets in on it. And I actually loved Impact's only video, that TNA game back in the day.
It's not as bad as people say. I think they had something like if they could have done a sequel and had more time to work on it, I think it would have been a really solid game.
I still liked it as it was, which is
I love the story mode and I actually loved playing the Ultimate X matches. I think those were a lot of fun. But yeah, it's too bad we didn't get more. But all right. Well, good stuff. Any final comments?
I just hope when Kenny Omega fights the champion that it's Moose. That's going to be my final comments. And no offense to Rich, because I wouldn't mind if he was the X Division champ. Yeah.
No, I got you. Or even tag team with Willie Mack. I thought that could have worked too. But yeah. All right. I got nothing else. So hopefully we'll be back after Impact on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll just be.
That depends on how serious Penzer's tweet was.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. We're going to play it by ear. So, all right. For Goldberg, for Hurls, we will see you again soon.